Okay, thanks everyone. Really appreciate you all coming on here. I think what we're trying to do with this is we're trying something different now on a sort of semi-frequent basis. We'll aim to do this every couple of months or every quarter, where we'll run through an agenda by every dYdX stakeholder. So thanks for coming in for this first one that we're starting. To give a bit of background on the people who are in the call today, we've got Charles, who's the CEO of the dYdX Foundation, who will run through everything foundation related first. We've got Zhao Meng, who is the engineering manager for dYdX Trading, who will touch on V4, which is really exciting. And then Carl from the grants team and the ops SubDAO team, which is awesome. We've got Karan, who will talk through the dYdX community, dYdX Foundation community specifically, and then Clifton, who will run through things governance. And then we've got James and Colin here, who will run through a couple of recent grants that they've been given and just touch on that for roughly 5 minutes. So to kind of give you an idea of timing, this will hopefully last only around 40 minutes. We'll run through things pretty sharply. And yeah, each person will kind of run through their own section every 5 minutes. Lastly, really, this is an iterative process. Obviously, we've changed things up. We usually do these epoch reviews and epoch kind of AMAs, but we're really going to be looking for feedback on how these are ran and how we can make these better each time. And ideally, as I guess the ecosystem progresses, this will kind of turn into SubDAOs that are giving feedback and talking through priorities for each quarter, etc. Cool. And last little bit, I guess, a few bits of housekeeping. If everyone wouldn't mind keeping their mics on mute, that would be ideal. Yeah, we'll do our best to stick to the timing, and each presenter can come on, introduce himself, and talk through their respective section. All right, let's get started. I guess first up is the man, Charles Dorsey, the CEO of dYdX Foundation. Over to you, Charles.
Very, very nice to meet you. If I haven't connected with you yet, my name is Charles. I'm the CEO of the dYdX Foundation. I joined about 5 months ago now. I was with Consensus as head of Asia and global head of business development before. And I'm super excited and firing all cylinders with the team to essentially grow the dYdX ecosystem. At the foundation, during this first update, we will try to share with you a quick update. It's only 5 minutes, so we can essentially bring the light on many people from the ecosystem. But as a foundation, in Q1 2023, we keep supporting a lot of different activities within the ecosystem. The launch of the academy is something which will be covered later on. Our team at the foundation is also active on the governance. So we are doing a lot of research on all the different governance initiatives which happened during the version 3. So expect some blog posts and research over there. And we also issued, and I'm sure you got this through your computers, is the ecosystem report for 2022 for the dYdX ecosystem. So that was a great milestone, and what we wanted with that is really kind of bring together all the different initiatives and make it easier for newcomers in the space to kind of map all the great things we are doing within the dYdX ecosystem. We'll keep working on the awareness around the dYdX V3 and V4. So for that, we are outreaching the wider community via social media and traditional media. We also have a new marketing champion joining as the foundation. Tristan is here, so welcome again, Tristan, to the team. And we're doing a lot of resource planning towards the V4 launch, as you know, and as it will be covered later in the call. Some testnets are coming up, a launch later this year. So we just try to put things in order so that we can essentially support the launch. Maybe just a short reminder regarding the foundation. So really our mission is to support the growth of the dYdX protocol ecosystem, enabling the community, the developers, and decentralized governance. So we're really focusing on these 3 main components of the ecosystem here. We will support, obviously, as many of you will, the launch of V4 as well as the testnet, bringing us to V4. And we are also an active member of the governance, having conversations with many of you to essentially keep evolving and growing the ecosystem. Some external affairs, as I mentioned earlier, we've been issuing this first dYdX ecosystem report for 2022, and we plan to keep doing this in the coming years. Obviously, we also went through the token unlock extension, and we are preparing the version 3, the governance version 3 report, sharing our learnings so with the community, so we can essentially prepare together the version 4 of the governance. On the next slide, please, if there is one more. Yeah, so we've been hiring Tristan. There is some more people joining the team. We are hiring a technical person at the foundation also to help with many different technical matters, and we keep growing the foundation team with a set of full-time colleagues, part-time colleagues, really covering as much ground and supportive as much as we can the ecosystem in general. We will be joining different events during the year, so there is just a short list here. Cosmoverse in Istanbul, we really look forward to this one. A few of us will be at the Paris Blockchain Week later in March. And there is plenty, so keep following us on social media, plenty of international community events and supporting events in general. So really excited to connect with you today through this community call. And yes, let's go with the next step on the program.
Thanks for sharing, Charles. That was great. Cool. I guess moving on, Xiaomeng, I saw you join the call. It'd be great if you could unmute yourself if possible.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Yeah, quick introduction of myself. I'm Xiaomeng. I'm the engineering manager at the dYdX trading side to supporting the team of engineering to building towards the V4 protocol. So I want to give a quick updates on the V4 side. So first of all, just a quick recap on the V4 status. And we already have an internal testnets running internally, which is being active test by employees. Within this internal version of V4, we're able to post a limited order, and that the order can be matched in the field, and you can see the position updates and so on. So think about this as like an MVP type of like the core trading workflow, which is being actively tested by employee. And we have already did like a few round of back scratching, fixing all those P0, P1 bugs. Now we have a pretty stable version of the internal test running at this moment. So the core trading workflow is pretty much already done at this moment. And the major work the team is working on is essentially to, it's related to setting up the infrastructure, the playbook. And right now we're still planning to launch the public test at the end of July, as previously communicated. And in addition to the core trading workflow, the public testnet will include a set of functions. It's more like advanced functions such as the USDC onboarding, governance, and so on, in addition to the core trading workflow. And so by end of the public testnet launch, and we'll having a version of the V4 with the full set of functioning, which is very close to the mainnet launch. Yeah, I think that's captured the current status for V4.
Xiaomeng, thank you very much. I think you'll be a much welcomed addition to this call going forward. So it was really helpful to have an update from you there. Okay, moving on. Carl, over to you, sir.
Hey, yeah, thank you. So yeah, I'll start off with the grant SubDAO. As a reminder, the grants program was launched just over a year ago with a mission to promote the development of dYdX through community funding initiatives. So that's been our primary goal in running the grants program for a year now. Since launching, we've approved a total of 94 grants with just over 2.9 million in funding. And through those grants, 76 unique contributors, either individuals or teams or both, have joined the dYdX ecosystem in one way or another. Of the grants approved, 71 have been completed, 20 are still ongoing, and 3 have been archived. Archiving, just as an FYI, it typically means the grantee has had to withdraw their grant post-approval for any number of reasons. It could be conflicting schedules or family issues, whatever it might be. Thankfully, we haven't lost any funds on archived grants, so it's always been pre any sort of funding being released. The grants program was just renewed for another 6 months with roughly 3.7 million in budget spread out across both dYdX and USDC. So we have a sizable runway and budget to kind of keep the program going for another 6 months. And we've revised the scope to focus on a few different funding objectives involving brand and user growth in a global setting through our international growth category, which we were doing before, and we're going to keep pushing in V1.5 renewal to kind of keep expanding the brand globally. We're moving to research and tooling projects revolving around risk parameters for dYdX, especially as we lead up to dYdX v4. We're doing community initiatives like the Academy, which we saw just launched, the merch program, which launched earlier this year, and we'll be exploring other options that the community can kind of lead as projects. And we're beginning to onboard contributors for work on the new chain, which we hope to start exploring very hands-on with kind of the testnets that are being launched. So that'll be infrastructure contributors, developers, kind of anybody who can actually play a role in building on top of dYdX v4 in a testnet environment leading up to the mainnet launch. And so if you have any ideas for projects or interested in contributing to the growth of dYdX, or would just like to explore grant options or would like to chat about the grants program, please DM me or visit our website at dydxgrants.com and submit an application. I think we can move on to the ops SubDAO.
Sounds good. Thanks, Carl.
So the operations SubDAO, or DOT, as we like to call it, was launched in December of last year with the primary goal of publishing a dYdX DAO playbook to provide the community with a guideline for launching new SubDAOs. Our other deliverables include establishing a bank account and managing communication channels that may host community discussions. So that could be a Slack, could be a Discord, could be a change of forums, that sort of thing. And through these goals, really, DOT is on a mission to enable the growth of a community-run dYdX DAO, which we think is going to be obviously kind of key to the success of the protocol in a v4 setting. Since launching, the team has been working on initial operational setups while also kind of putting our heads down and compiling the dYdX DAO playbook. So we're getting close to wrapping up the playbook draft now, at which point we'll kind of just be circling it around internally with most of the people on this call probably, and then hope to publish a more finalized version by early March. And so, I think even then it still won't be fully finalized because we'll be gathering community feedback and we'll be very open to suggestions on how it can be improved and that sort of thing. Generally speaking, it'll be a very iterative document. We've also found a banking partner willing to onboard the trust. So we're just jumping through the traditional banking hoops to get us set up there. And we've been working on initial implementations of new communication channels for the DAO to help improve engagement and overall comms across all the stakeholders. So I'd say keep an eye out for our playbook in the next month or so, and we should be providing an update on some of these additional communication changes that might be implemented earlier on as well. And looking forward to feedback from everybody as we kind of start to publicize these things.
Fantastic. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate that. Okay, moving on to the next slide, please, Tristan. I think we've got Karan. Karan, welcome.
Yep. Hey, so on the community and ecosystem side, some of the key North Star metrics for the team here are to establish a strong brand with media, educational content, and collaborating with KOLs and also organizing events in different regions. And also we are looking at building a dedicated community of traders, governance participants, and also ecosystem players. And also a key metric for us is to improve the product market fit, and that is being done through user interviews and customer support. So on the GTM side, there are a few focus markets for the foundation team: Japan, India, Turkey, France, and a couple of more markets, which have contributed to almost 1/3 of the entire page views on dYdX in the last quarter, which went up from almost 20% in Q3. And also we at the GTM team have done over 100 user interviews in the last 3-4 months, which have helped a lot on the product side suggested new ideas how we can improve the product and make it very similar sort of experience to some of the centralized exchanges out there. The foundation team has also supported dYdX Academy for the last few years, and I believe James is already on the call, and he'll be going more in depth on it. But at a high level, the average monthly views on the Academy have gone up by almost 5x in the last 3 months. And since the new revamped Academy, things are looking very, very positive on that side. On the events and course side, so we have hosted over 120 events, both digitally and in real life, in the last 3 months, and which have been attended by over 3,000 people combined. And there have been more than like 45 media publications, 25 blogs that have been all translated to 4 different languages. We have seen huge interest on the co-ops as well, and since the program was incepted, and almost 1,500 people have completed quests on dYdX. One of the challenge, of course, is even though there's like a lot of interest and which is driving a lot of growth in the ecosystem, some of this gamification of rewards also affect the quality of the community, which we are now working towards improving by specific tasks on the quest side. On the social media, these are some of the channels, as you see on the right, which are being currently managed by the foundation. And some of the bigger channels like dYdX Discord, dYdX Foundation Twitter have seen like 5 to 10% growth in the last 3 months. But some of the regional channels have seen like 50% to or close to 150% growth. And there are some new channels as well, which we have started just for dedicated regional communities, which has over 3,000 people now actively contributing. Now that as we are moving closer to V4, there is a lot more focus on partnership, ecosystem building, bringing more grantees, which will be valuable for the dYdX chain. And we are always, of course, looking for contributors who can internationalize some of the content and also spreading the word on some of the other initiatives. Yeah, I think that's it from the community ecosystem side.
Nice. Thanks, Karan. Appreciate that update. That was really helpful. Okay, Cliff, over to you with the governance.
Cool. Yeah, let's go through some of the active discussions and proposals. So we've had the grants version 1.5 renewal vote successfully passed. So essentially, the grants v1.5 program is going to continue for the next 6 months, and the number of trustees is going to be reduced from 8 to 5. So the second pending DRC that we're expecting to see go up on our forums pretty soon would be to increase the max funding rate cap. So essentially, this aims to prevent dYdX from being the cheapest or the most expensive venue to long or short, because that's just bad for the protocol in general. It opens up the protocol for Oracle drift attacks, and it's just not a good thing. So essentially, a community member has signaled that they want to increase the max funding rate cap to align a bit closer to the industry standards. So looking forward for that proposal to hit the forums. Kaylin from Wintermute actually posted a pretty in-depth proposal termed Wintermute V4 Vanguard. And for this discussion, there were actually 6 different recommendations posted. So Kaylin actually mischievously tweeted that he felt bad just because the forums were just all Wintermute posts. But yeah, we currently have the first recommendation, that is to reduce the trading rewards by 45% up for a snapshot vote. So that is active right now. It ends on Saturday. So be sure to check that out and vote if you have not. And he had just also created a snapshot to adjust, to introduce a market maker rebate program. So on the item C. So be sure to check that out. I think that goes live tomorrow. Over on the initiative side of things, we are working on understanding what the dYdX's the dYdX DAO's financial health is, right? So coming up with kind of like a P&L statement just to understand from a financial health standpoint, how have our revenues been, what our costs been as a DAO, and taking into considerations emissions so we can do a better forecast and plan for the future. And we are also working heavily on the research front, really understanding for all of the different Cosmos dApps out there, how does governance run, how active are its participants, so that we can kind of be prepared for V4 governance when V4 mainnet kind of ships. So on the content side, we are looking to launch our learnings from V3 governance blog, and essentially this blog provides an overview of the key insights and reflections gained from our experiences and observations with governance on V3. Ultimately, we aim to synthesize all these learnings and provoke discussion in the community about potential improvements in governance. So yeah, have keep a lookout for that. We'll probably look to drop that mid to late next week. So yeah, that's it on the governance front.
Thank you, Cliff. Brilliant. Okay, next, Colin. I know you're in the audience somewhere.
Hey, hi everyone. So I'm just going to be sharing more about a recent research that was published last month. So it was done with 0xCRR, who's another really active community member. So it's more on trading fee optimization, where we were just analyzing the behavioral changes of traders to the 3 different fee holidays that were implemented in dYdX, and hopefully our findings can provide the community with a model to discuss more on fee setting ideas, especially in V4 this year. So for the methodology, what kind of data that we collect was, of course, trading volume for all the markets on dYdX. And we excluded Luna, of course. And of course, we took from Binance as well, just to normalize for market sentiments. We included dYdX price deliberately because, after all, it's a token reward, and it can incentivize behavior. And of course, fees, which was a binary variable, whether there was a fee holiday or not, 1 or 0 in our model, and we just ran regressions. So we did a market segmentation based on the volumes that we saw in dYdX. So some of the observations that we saw throughout time series was really just how rewards basically contributed very significantly to overall trading volume throughout much of basically post-Luna. And fees, however, appeared to show a lot of changes in the dynamics, especially pre and post-Luna. I think before Luna, as you can see, the larger coin markets, ETH and BTC, basically showed a strong deference for lower fees, much stronger than our mid-tier and small tier. So mid-tier basically comprises of Sol, AVAX, Matic, Atom, Uni, and EDC. And for after Luna collapse, what we found out was that the impact of fees actually didn't become statistically significant, and it was more of a rewards-driven behavior. And of course, an interesting mark that we noticed was how our top traders, basically those people who churned volumes, which we use trading rewards as a proxy for, actually exhibited very strong, loyal, and sticky behavior throughout all the epochs, especially from epoch 8 onwards. There was only a 1 to 6% change in this top 100 accounts. So I think with our main observations, what we were hoping to push for is less of a fee-driven, but more of a reward-driven trading behavior that was what was witnessed post-Luna. And so that's just on the reward side of things. But because this is a fee paper, what we wanted to try for was to experiment with lower fees for the larger coin markets, ETH and BTC, as what we have seen for other centralized exchanges, just to be more competitive as well. And reduce the fee holiday to 50K per epoch, just to see how small volume traders can be included in our trading reward sector as well. So you can always find out more about our findings on the forums, and you can just scan the QR code as well for more information.
Brilliant. Thanks, Colin. Where can people find you and 0xCLR?
I'm sorry?
Where can people find you and 0xCLR? Are you on Discord?
Yeah, you can find us on Discord, 0xChan, 0xCRR, and on the Commonwealth as well, where we try to comment on some of the latest discussions, which are really cool and related to this research as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Moving on to the next slide then, please. I think we have James from the Academy and Alucard here.
Hi, everyone. I'm James. I'm currently the social media manager and the web developer for the new relaunched Academy. So dYdX Academy recently launched on the 14th of February, and dYdX Academy shares the same mission as dYdX, which is to democratize access to financial opportunity. dYdX Academy aims to fill this gap by having an easy to understand and free educational videos and articles on the on-brand website. So we want to have accurate content and on-brand website to build the trust within the crypto ecosystem. We've also added a fun and interactive quizzes and poll-ups to help sort of drive engagement to the dYdX Academy and to sort of help onboard more users onto DeFi. So since the launch on the 14th of February, the preliminary data that we have, so we've had over 4,300 signups since launch. We've also gained 50,000 page views as well. And then within the first 18 hours, it was all the 2023 POAPs that we had available for the first task were all taken and all sent over by a la carte 8 hours later, and we took out some of the farmers and people that were doing that. And we've also achieved a 32% bounce rate and an average visit duration of 6 minutes, which is 5 minutes more than the industry standard, which is great. So it shows that people are really engaging with the videos, really taking part in the quizzes, and hopefully onboarding onto dYdX afterwards. So the future outlook for the dYdX Academy is to produce more evergreen topics with videos and articles ahead of V4 launch to drive engagement, build the dYdX brand, and hopefully onboard more users into DeFi and the dYdX exchange. So if you haven't signed up for the dYdX Academy yet, if you just go to dYdX.academy, we also have a POAP for this call as well that Alucard should be posting a link in just now if anyone wants to go and claim the POAP. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thanks, James. That's really exciting. Well done with that launch. And I've seen that there's is there another quest that's launching or being unlocked? Is it every week?
Yeah, so we've got new tasks launching every week. So the next one is on the 22nd of February at 9 Central Time, I believe it was. But all the information is on the dYdX Academy website /POAP campaign. So if anyone wants to go over there and see all the data, and also follow the Twitter. So I'll be posting out before the tasks are released on the Twitter to let everyone know. And yeah, we've got 4,300 signed up. So I'd imagine the next one will go even quicker than the one that just went this week, sorry.
Nice work. Well done. And there's a feedback channel right on Discord where people can come in and ask questions if they have any.
There's a feedback channel, and also we have on the dashboard, we have a website feedback and also a content request form. So if anyone has anything they want to give feedback or request any content that we can do in the future, we'll be checking those. Thank you,
nice
Maxim.
Work, James.
Thank you. Oh yeah, also, sorry, it just reminded me, we've got a merch giveaway as well and the Hedgie giveaway. So for everyone that collects a POAP, once a week we'll be giving a merch box away to just a random giveaway basically. And then if you manage to collect all the 8 POAPs, there'll be a draw for one of 8 Hedgies that we've got up for grabs. We've got 3 Hedgies that are rare up for grabs as well. Yes, it's Christmas. Lots to give away.
Nice work. Well done, James and team. Cool. Moving on to the next slide. I think that is everyone speaking today. Okay. So finally, I think how we'll work with this moving forward, this will be on a semi-regular basis. As I said at the start, we'll get as many people on who are contributing to the ecosystem. If you feel like you want to come on and showcase the work you've done for dYdX, and the ecosystem more broadly, then brilliant. Reach out to us on Discord, on Twitter, or the forums. Again, yeah, I think as time goes on and as the level of contributors keep rising, as the SubDAOs increase, as the months go by, I definitely think the level of conversations will continue to rise, and the timing of this event will continue to sort of get longer and longer, as obviously this time it's been just over half an hour. I think as well at the end of the next call, we'll probably add a section for Q&A, just like we do on the Epoch review, where we will take questions and kind of engage with anyone on the team if you've got anything related to V4 or the ecosystem more broadly. Cool. All right. Well, let's close that off here, and we'll keep you updated for the next one. But yeah, if there's anyone who's got any partnership updates, any grantees, feel free to reach out to Carl. And yeah, feel free to email the ecosystem at dYdX.foundation there if there's anything that you want to chat about. Okay, there you have it. Let's close this off. Thanks for your time, guys.